All right, so page 99. This is the neural junction. So it's where nerve meets nerve. That means this right here would be one part of your axon terminal. And here is a dendrite.
What's that cup-looking thing called? Yes.
It's the dendrite.
Okay, I can't see that from here.
Okay, now, we listening? Hey, I'm recording. You gotta be quiet so they can hear me.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, now inside of your axon terminal, you have all these little dots. Okay, you can actually see it in yours, and you have little mitochondria in there too, because you got to provide energy. Ooh, I want that green. Okay, so now we receive our nerve impulse right through the axon terminal. Now, once the nerve impulse gets there, it's going to activate these little circles. Now, these circles are filled with stuff. Anybody remember what that stuff that like holds nutrients inside your cells are called? Starts with a V, ends with an esicles. Oh, okay, good. Nope, that's not it. All right.
You guys are so mature.
We'll talk about that later.
What?
We'll talk about that later in a week or two.
Wait, testicles?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, JT. You'll get it twice.
Say it so the camera can.
All right, so. Oh, I'm sure it hurt. Okay, now. So.
Well, I guess go for the.
They'll just be like, welcome to biology classroom. Okay. Okay, now it's going to take these vesicles and it's going to actually make them come down in here. The vesicles are actually filled with a neurotransmitter. Okay, that's a vocab word I really expect you to know. Okay, there's a neurotransmitter. If it's not in your vocab, write it in. Okay, because neurotransmitter is a chemical that's going to keep the signal going from like your nerve to your nerve to muscle, nerve to glands, right? So if you need to release more testosterone, you're going to have a neurotransmitter that's going to go into the testes, activate the testosterone gland, and produce it.
What is it?
Right? That's what it's called. So, now I'll write what neurotransmitter this one is. It is acetylcholine.
So that will release acetylcholine.
It'll release acetylcholine into this little space right here. That space, I better label it. I'll label it in red. With the receptors. The receptors are red, okay? So we got to have some receptors. Receptors are the red, but this little space right there is the synapse. Synapse is just the space in between the two nerves. So your nerves aren't actually connected to each other. What the heck? Your nerve is not connected to your muscle. Your nerve is not actually connected to your glands. It like sits around it like this.
Wait, so like.
Okay, that's how I am, okay? Every time I think about it, I'm like, whoa! I can't believe that my nerves do not connect to my nerves and they still send the signal like that. It's just like, and then acetylcholine's released in there, right? That neurotransmitter. Okay, so, yeah, they have the force, I guess.
It's a bunch of nerves.
Okay, bunch of nerves, you know.
Use the force.
Okay, and these are going to move down, so they're actually going to connect to it, right? And they're going to release, dang it, oh, I need green. They're going to release that neurotransmitter, acetylcholine, into here. All right? So, black.
Why did you just spit that out?
Because I wanted to. All right, so now the synapse is full of acetylcholine. Is acetylcholine just going to sit in the synapse and just like sit there and do nothing? Right? We need to transfer that nerve impulse. So it is actually going to attach to the receptors here. These receptors And then once it's attached to the receptors, sends the nerve impulse to the dendrite into the next nerve. Right? That's a neural junction. Now, if it was a neuromuscular junction between the nerve and the muscle, it's still acetylcholine, but it sends it into the muscle instead. So, now, if there's constantly acetylcholine in the synapse, do you think it'll keep sending the signal? If there's constantly acetylcholine, so it's constantly telling you to, maybe produce growth hormone, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I have gigantism and I'm humongous. Like 8 foot tall, and you die sooner because your organs get bigger and bigger and bigger too. Right? You don't stop growing. And so, right, we need something to inhibit this and stop the signal from going, okay? Like stop your muscles from contracting. What is it when somebody's always doing this? It's Parkinson's disease. It's because they cannot inhibit they can't inhibit this. They can't stop it from happening when we need to stop it, right? You want to be able to do this.
So doesn't
right? So
doesn't Michael J. Fox have Parkinson's?
Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's.
The guy who played Marty McFly, right?
Yep.
Synopsis, it's like what causes it, like when they keep producing it, or it's all like.
So that you can't inhibit what the nerve impulse from
So
going.
basically the signal just.
Because you want to stop it.
You don't have full control of your nerves.
Yeah, you don't have full control. It's a nervous system disease. It's not a muscular system
I would
disease.
think that'd be
It's a
like
nervous
surgeon
system
and
disease.
have that happen.
Okay? So you actually have this enzyme. Remember what enzymes are?
They unlock something to happen. They unlock
Proteins that break stuff down or build stuff up, right? So they're going to come in, let's say, and eat it. They're going to come in and eat it. Okay, and that enzyme is called cholinesterase. Remember when I said if it has an ACE at the end, it's an enzyme usually? Okay, cholinesterase. So it goes in and it eats acetylcholine so that you can actually stop doing what you're doing, right? I don't want to be constantly like going like this when I'm writing and it doesn't stop, right? That's a horrible disease. It's horrible. It really is, okay? And it can kill you because you're using so much energy by contracting your muscles so much that you just run out of energy, right? You can live for a while still.
Wait,
right?
do they still shake in their sleep?
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't. Can you imagine trying to sleep like that? Okay, it's really hard. So, right, we want this cholinesterase to help inhibit and stop the contraction or stop the release of the hormones or stop whatever it's doing. There's other things going on too, but it's their inhibitors. They can't stop it from happening. Yes, Sam?
So all of this happens and the cholesterol comes in, or
Cholinesterase.
yeah, comes in, does all that, and all of this happens at the speed of electricity, just like.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I love it. It's so cool. Okay, the nervous system is like, whoa, I can't believe that this is happening, right? I would have done this more with muscular system too, but I didn't go into it as much as I wanted to. Okay? Well, it just does.